the California Classic is well underway. How do we do? The Lakers 0-2, just lost to your Spurs. I'm okay though. How are you feeling about this win? What does it mean?
I mean, like you alluded to last week, it doesn't mean much, but you still can't not smile when your team goes 2-0
Right.
in any kind of series. That Laker game on Monday, with the Heat player Jacquez, I mean, he was lighting people up. He was just playmaking and just getting to the basket. He probably has the best highlight of the entire game. You have to go watch it if you haven't seen it, where he makes a dunk. Um, Tonight we had Spurs Lakers in the California Classic. Spurs take the Lakers 109-99, and the leading scorers were Malachi Branham with 32 points and Max Christie with 26 points.
Hmm. Well, the Lakers have got some signings. Since we last met, Carl, some things have happened. We held on to Austin Reeves, very nice little 4-year, 56 million deal. Um, pretty good. He wants to stay here, and yeah, we're glad to have him. D'Angelo Russell, he signed a nice little 2-year deal, but what I'm hearing is that it's as team friendly as it is, he still could be out the door. They still may turn him into somebody, even though he signed, because a lot of teams would want him at that price.
So you
But
don't think he'll last through the season, or when do you think that trade might happen?
I think it could happen prior to the season. I think that he cost himself between 10 and 15 million dollars in that series against the Denver Nuggets, and he signed a contract now with the Lakers to stay with the Lakers that reflects that. The new deal is 2-year, 37 million. They were saying at minimum that he was going to get a 3-year, 70 million contract, and that's how much money he cost himself.
3 years, 70 million, and he got a 2-year, 37.
Yeah,
Wow.
because he's only 27, but looks like he was making 20 last year. He made 27 million.
With the Lakers.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a contract that he already had when they acquired him, but yeah,
Which equates, I mean, 3 years, 70 million. It's a longer contract, but less per year.
slightly, yeah. But anyway, he cost himself a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. The point of all of that was,
He cost himself a chunk of change,
yeah.
and he's basically turned into the scapegoat for that sweep. And
People keep doing this because Schroeder did the same thing.
he did, but he ultimately redeemed himself. In my eyes, he overplayed his hand, but then he came back on a minimum and really played well. He was like putting up starter numbers for the minimum, and now he's gone, of course, to the good old Toronto Raptors, which I hate to see it though. I mean, that one, as much as the good stuff as they've got, and picked up Gabe Vincent. Wow. Um, that's gonna hurt the Heat, right? A lot of people were
It
saying
has
that.
to.
I mean,
Has to.
he was playing really well. Like he was like, I mean, many people were saying that he outplayed Jimmy Butler, like in that
Oh
series.
yeah. Well, it was tit for it was like a balance because when Jimmy was off, you'd see Vincent come on,
Yeah.
which was
So
great. I mean, that's exactly what they needed. So maybe he is the person that needs to run a second team for a couple years and just have a lot of the ball in his hand.
mhm. So I mean, if it's him or Schroeder, I'll take him. But I'm just saying, Dennis Schroeder is a Laker for life, and I'm not mad at it. I'm glad that he came back and he did redeem himself. I hope he makes a lot of money. But I'm really upset about Lonnie Walker, former Spur.
Yeah, from the Spurs tree. I'm
I mean,
upset about it also. I was sad to hear about it.
I had noticed. I mean, when he shoots the basketball, it had the tendency to go in. You just sort of thought it was going to go in, and he shot with confidence. I'm always going to remember how he got benched so that these guys that got traded around the trade deadline could get some playing time. It wasn't because he was playing bad. It was just basically they needed to get these guys out there.
Warm him up.
He wasn't, or didn't show anyway that he was upset or whatever. He stayed a team player. He stayed ready. They needed him in the playoffs. He came through that game 4 against the Golden
Yeah,
State Warriors. I don't think that they'll ever forgive him for, meaning Steph Curry and
yeah.
Co. I don't think they'll ever quite forgive him for that, which is what we want.
That's why you always got to respect everybody out there, man. You can't slack off.
hmm Well, I mean, look, then this is the reason that I'm saying that LeBron has a better supporting cast because it ought to be like that. It ought to be if you've got wide open guys that are on the court, you ought to be able to count on them to make a
Should be able to make a shot.
mid-range too.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
I
No
mean,
one's blocking, like no one's guarding you. Like you're wide open. Make
shoot
a
the
shot.
basketball, make the shot, and he actually did that in the second half of the fourth quarter of that game. Well done, So he's gone to the Nets on a 1-year deal. The thing that's perplexing, though, I'd like some answers, is that he didn't get paid. He got like $6.5 million. So it wasn't like, you know, the Lakers must not have wanted him, or they must not have been willing to do what is the minimum? Because I guess that's not the minimum, right? But they must not have wanted to do anything for him, basically.
The thing is, and you're gonna find this like the more trades you look at, there's a lot of deals happening. I mean, just look at what the Lakers were able to do with all their free agents that they picked up. The new CBA is really dictating so much right now, and I think there are a lot of teams just signing short-term deals while they figure this all out.
Yeah.
They don't want to fill up cap space for too long because the cap is now so much more strict. So this isn't normal, but I think we're seeing the results of what the CBA is doing to the teams from a GM and recruiting standpoint.
Yeah. That's true. That's a good point. I think that we're the GMs are smart enough to not get locked down on some kind of Luol Deng type of thing. Um,
And they
that
but they would all have to be in this together to say, because it's not like the team is just the only team interested in these players and they're offering them a short-term deal or a small deal. If all of their other offers at all the other teams are about the same, then it's a league-wide epidemic this season, right? That they don't want to sign players to long-term deals.
Yeah. I got a question for you. Changing the topic. What do you think that Damian Lillard had hoped for? What went wrong? What was he waiting for in Portland?
I assume you're talking about just this ending here. We knew that he was unhappy. We knew that he wanted them to trade that third pick. We knew that he wanted some better talent around him. Um, but he never requested a trade. And he consistently said, I love Portland. This is where I want to be. I want to win here. He never requested a trade, and then all of a sudden he requests the trade. So I
Who
know that he was
who
waiting for I know that he was waiting for the team to bring him some help. And I know that when draft came around and they did not trade that pick for an all-star,
mm,
that he was upset about that. That he felt like it was either grab somebody young with a third pick and you tell me that we were doing a rebuild and I'm no longer needed,
mhm,
or you trade that asset for an all-star and let's take it to the Nuggets this year.
yeah.
And that didn't happen.
Uh, I mean, in the context of the modern NBA and him requesting a trade deadline, he's still a saint for waiting this long. I mean, he's really talented and has now let more than half of his career go being loyal. I mean, that is not something that other players have done. He stuck it out in Portland. Obviously, they love him there. But now he's being turned on by these fans. I know You can't like account for what some crazy people might do, as we say, but still not fair for them, in my opinion, for them to be turning on him.
No, of course not. Like, if anyone's to blame, it's management.
Totally.
They've had so much time. It's his 11th year. I think it's his 11th year with Portland. And other than getting, was it to the finals or the semifinals? Is the conference finals with Golden State, right?
Mm, I forgot about that. It's hilarious in the bubble. If you look back, there were all of these talking heads, and they just go on and on about the most dangerous 8 seed ever. And then they won game one against the Lakers, and everybody lost their mind. And then they gentlemen sweep after that.
Yeah.
And, and people forget now that they were a really good team. They were really dangerous, and they got snuffed out. But that was a good team.
Yeah, it was. Well, to answer your question, I really think that he had to have been waiting for somebody. He had to have thought, "I bet we can get this person, or we might be able to get this person
Mm,
if we act." Yeah, okay, here's my pick. I really, really believe that he was hoping to get Brooke Lopez from the Milwaukee Bucks. I think he was hoping to get some interior defense and also a perimeter shooter, someone like Brooks, to compete against Jokic.
mm,
And then Milwaukee picked him back up, or he re-signed with Milwaukee. That's
mm.
my pick. I mean, there's a number of other people who have gotten picked up, or other things have happened, like James Harden. But for fit, out of the biggest players to be getting traded, I think Brooke Lopez was the one on the block that he probably would have wanted the most.
I see your point. They would have gelled together, but was he ever going to leave Milwaukee? Man, I thought he's pretty much a Buck for life now. At this point, I would have thought.
I mean, is there no deal that would have given him to Portland for the Milwaukee Bucks?
Mm.
Number 2 pick, future draft picks, maybe a couple other bench players. Would that not have?
It's not sexy enough, Carl. They wanted Bradley Beal. They wanted, you know, he was hoping that waiting for Portland to move to somewhere else, the city itself, where free agents actually want to come there. I would say that's what he was waiting for. 2012 again, he was looking at the Mayan calendar. He was saying maybe uh it could be. Um I don't know if there's a cult in Portland. He probably joined it, and now, boy does he have egg on his face. And so
They
uh
dreamed of sunny beaches.
yeah, so maybe if California, the earthquake happens and it falls off, and all of a sudden Portland is now the new LA. That's basically what he was needing, hoping for, I suppose. But they
Are
didn't do
there
him. They didn't do him
are there
right.
any players that would come to mind that you think would be a good fit on the Blazers that were available?
I mean, I'd like to see the kind of, I'm thinking that they get some scrappy mid-level guys, like um like a Kyle Lowry, you know, Kyle Lowry type of player. Excuse me. I'll say that again. A Kyle Lowry type of player, I would say, is the kind that would go there that could actually be impactful. What we need is some championship vets who would like some spotlight. I would say they could go well with Damian Lillard. Could have gone well with him there, obviously. Um,
Would the Heat have traded Lowry?
Probably not. And just I thought the question was the type of player that.
Oh, yeah, well, someone who was, on the market that he might have been waiting for, to the question.
Right. Okay. Someone on the market.
Van Vliet.
I yeah, something was he's available. I mean, the thing. I think we're getting into the fanciful territory of just sort of hoping that players would
I
have gone
think it
there.
should have been Van Vliet.
I will take it. I'll allow it. You can change your pick, Carl, but like I say, it's we're getting into fantasy land. Some of these hopes and dreams for the Portland Trailblazers, they're a bit fanciful. And
Obviously, they were. They didn't happen. The Rockets picked him up, and Harden opted into his deal, and Milwaukee Bucks re-signed Middleton and re-signed Brooke Lopez, and Golden State Warriors re-signed Draymond Green,
Mhm.
and the Lakers are loading up. Phoenix got Beal, so it's like Damian Lillard sitting there like, "There's no one left. Get me out."
Right. Well, and the man is a saint, and he stuck it out as long as he could. And I would like to see him go somewhere meaningful. And I can see why he's trying to push his way to Miami.
Yeah.
And we'll see. Like I say, if the Clippers want to sell the farm for him, that'd be a very Clippers thing to do. But actually, he's a great player. Um, you realize that he's only 6'1"? Well, they're putting him 6'2" here, but I've heard him say 6'1" a lot.
Mm. Well, here's a follow-up question if we don't dive in too deep. Um, Even though he is crowned a saint in Portland, do you think that that obligates the Portland to send him where he wants to go? I mean, there's a big discussion happening right now about whether or not they should be trying to get him to Miami or looking out for the best deal for the franchise or something in between.
I think
What do
they
you
have
think?
I may not like it, and I may not like them, but in terms of I don't root for their management, but they gotta use what they have to get what they want, right? I mean, you can't just be giving sweetheart deals to other because it's like it's one thing to help him and to try to facilitate what he wants to do, but I mean you're helping the Miami Heat, and you got to try to. I mean, I would say if you're them, uh, trade him like he's asking for, but don't take something less than what he's worth. Don't do something like hold him. I feel like you owe him that. If he wants out, get him out. But um, you don't owe him taking some deal that's not good for the team.
Well, so a lot of people would say that it's more important to the team because what is that going to say to their new number 3 pick now? It's going to say to them, do not stay 11 years because even when you do pledge yourself to this city and this franchise and you don't leave when everyone expects you to leave, you stick it out. When you do everything you can to help this franchise win and you're ready to go, they're going to just think about themselves.
I like that, and I'm glad you brought that up. I should have thought of that too, because the Lakers do that. They did that. Kobe's last deal was a max, super max, whatever, when he really didn't have much left to give. But everybody knows Lakers take care of their guys. Laker for life. That it matters. It's a family, and they mean that.
Exactly.
Ron knows that his every whim is going to be seen to. And I mean, he's backed it up and he deserves it. But I'm just saying, because they picked the right people, obviously, when it's LeBron, you do that. But,
Because
he's
part of
not
their
going to be jerked
culture
around. It's
outside
not,
of the
it's not,
locker
it's
room.
not Cleveland where he's going to be questioned and, you know, left hanging and whatnot. They know what they have and they take care of their people. And so that's a very good point. You can't get free agents anyway, Portland, and your best guy you mistreat. We'll see if they do or not. But I mean, I like where your head's at. But I was a bit surprised to hear that actually when it's like, oh, they're going to do in the best interest of the team. That basically means we're saying no to him.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
uh, But I still think this is middle ground. I mean, they can't just be expected like, oh, we're just going to give him away. Okay, then fine, make the deal to Miami. But um, Tyler Hero was saying he believes he's gone, and he took Miami Heat guard off of his Twitter.
Wow, why? I didn't think that they didn't want him. I knew that he was in trade discussions, but I didn't think that they just didn't want him that badly.
Something
And
tipped him off, I suppose, for him to do that. He believes he's going to be traded, and he's telling everybody apparently.
Hmm.
So,
Well, it hasn't happened yet, and Harden's still playing for the 76ers this season, as far as we know, and Hero is playing for the Heat, as far as we know.
and the Lakers summer league is 0-2, and the Spurs 2-0. That's all we know. That's where we stand. That's where we stand, Carl. All right. Let me ask you this. Lakers signings, Spurs signings. Who do you think has picked up the most impactful player?
Out of both teams, I think the Spurs, obviously with Wemby, but that's through the draft. I really think the Lakers actually, out of the free agent signings or the trades, I think the Lakers have actually got the better pick out of everybody in Gabe
Pretty
Vincent.
good list. It is a pretty good list.
It's a great list. It's hard to pick over Austin Reeves, who had an epic playoff series. Um, Cam Reddish is great too, but I think Gabe Vincent coming from the Heat, you can speak more to that on what he provides to the Lakers. But I think that's overall between the Lakers and Spurs. I think the Lakers win that one. Um, as far as the Spurs go, Champagny, I think I got it right that time. Champagny is looking like an all-star. So far, it is the California Classic, but from what I saw from Champagny,
Mhm.
I would be excited if he actually got a spot on the roster, not just the G League.
Mm. Well, we'll see if that happens. This is why we
Seemed like
watch
he
the
had
game.
good logic on the court. He had good vision on the court, and he
I'll bet
was
they're looking at that. I
what's
bet
that?
they're looking at that. I bet the commentators in the game were talking about that. Who is a Spurs system player? You know, it's not just be a good basketball player. You've got to be a Spur,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Um,
that kind of
that's
player.
that's what you're alluding to.
Yeah, exactly. Hmm. Yeah, so I'm excited to see him. What do you think?
At Jim Pagney, well, yeah, I mean, it's if we're going by names, Austin Reeves can't overstate. D'Angelo Russell, he resigned for half his money. He still could be traded. Either way, it's a win. Gabe Vincent, that's a shooter upgrade, considering we lost him. They're not exactly one for one, but I mean, I'll say one out, one in. I'll take this one. Hachimura, they're talking about he may start. And that's another one, his when he would shoot it, it had the tendency to go in. And you just felt like he,
Good.
and it wasn't and he's got a certain way of shooting the ball. Like he's not, they're basically all nothing but net. I noticed. Um,
If it
something
goes in and it
got a
doesn't hit the
certain,
rim,
it doesn't hit the rim. It's got a certain sound. I don't know if it's a Japanese thing where he, but it's got a the swish is his own swish. Hachimura, I'm big on him.
well, so what do you think Gabe Vincent's role is going to be on the Lakers, though?
Probably leading the second unit.
I would agree.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, it's like a Schroeder. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah,
Schroeder was a good ball handler and smart. He just undersized. Like he's not gonna there's depending on who he's going up against, he can do really well. But certain matchups neutralized him. Even though he
he's
had
negative on the defensive end.
depending on he could be effective, but like I say, certain players are just too big for him, and he couldn't. He would be um out of his element, I suppose. He just could. There's only so much he could give you.
Yeah, or put up with.
His abilities um didn't match his skill level. His skill level's high. His ability was a little bit less when you get into the playoffs. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Golden State made him look a little silly. Um, some of that.
So do you think Gabe's going to be a bigger impact on the Lakers this year, or Austin Reeves?
Austin Reeves, I would say, unless we don't have a letdown, but it's like I want to say Gabe because that's exciting, right? But Austin Reeves, imagine if we lost him, that would be huge. So we got to really appreciate that we did keep him,
Yeah,
and we also got a team friendly deal, 4 years, 56 million. Man's 25 years old, and so
we'll have him through his prime. Or the Lakers will have him through his prime.
yes, yeah, and then the rest of the LeBron years is the way it should be. Um, so I'm excited.
Well, so that is why I think that Gabe Vincent is actually the biggest impact to the Lakers because of LeBron's age. Because the number one problem with the Lakers is staying healthy. Not just for LeBron, of course, but AD also. But if you can get a guy in there like Gabe Vincent to give LeBron James a break, run the second unit, or even come in for him with the first unit in some cases, I think LeBron being able to rest and depend on someone else to be the floor general for a time during games during the regular season is overall going to have the greatest impact on the Lakers because he'll be that much more healthy come the playoffs.
Yes, yes, 100%, 150%. Um, and I want to reiterate since you brought that up, we can split hairs. We can say we want this. We give them this grade. They sign this guy. They sign that guy. The Lakers are going to go as far as LeBron takes them. And if they were to win the championship next year, it would be because LeBron was healthy and he took them there. And
Yeah.
we also need AD to be healthy and be part of that. But anything short of healthy LeBron at 100% of himself, anything short of that, we're not getting there.
Yeah, it's not getting done.
Yeah. So
It's not getting
we got
done.
some nice pieces and they fit well, and I'm happy. But what we really need is healthy LeBron.
Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking of not getting it done, there's a lot of hype and expectations for Wemby in San Antonio, of course. But Draymond Green just said on his podcast, or he was actually on Paul George's podcast, he was saying that he thinks San Antonio is, um, use my own words, suffocating Wembanyama or they're suffocating his potential
Mm.
because they're going to control his minutes. They're going to not have him playing back to backs and things like that. They're gonna ruin his chances in his mind, in Draymond Green's opinion. The Spurs are gonna ruin Wemby's chances to get Rookie of the Year
Mm. Mm.
or to be an All Star in his rookie season because of games played,
Right. You know,
which affects your pay when it comes time for your new contract.
that's true. Would they do that on purpose, you think?
Not for that
They're just trying to
reason.
protect
I
their
think that that's the
asset.
conversation they have with him. It's like, do you want to win Rookie of the Year? Or do you want to be healthy to win a championship in 2 or 3?
But I mean, the fact that it's going to hold him back from some kind of max money, but he's going to have enough money. He's still going to get some kind of $280 million thing.
He'll
As
get a
long
max
as,
extension.
yeah, he'll get that.
But that was Draymond Green's argument.
But then or also, if you want to break the all-time scoring record, what did LeBron have in his first season? It was at least 25, you know? So that's what a fine line exists. You got to start right away, and you got to do it the entire time. So could be a record that never gets broken. Could be that the next person who breaks it does not start as a San Antonio Spur. Um, Food for thought. No record's unbreakable, and records are
No,
made to be broken.
I think if he's as good as we are expecting him to be, I think that he could make up for the first 2 or 3 years of missing a lot of games.
Mm.
But I firmly believe that the Spurs will be contending for a championship in 3 years.
Well, they've done it before, and I wouldn't put it past them. I'm not sleeping on them, and they're going to be whatever talent they have. They're going to wring every bit of success they can get out of that. You know what I mean? They are overachievers, and that's not put down. I think that they get everything and a little more out of what they have through coaching
Mm-hmm.
and game planning, and and they have some supremely talented players that they have had some supremely talented players to back that up. Um, but you can count on they're going to win close games. They're going to win um, games you wouldn't expect them to win. And they're not going to, even when the down years, they're gonna really surprise you. So yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Appreciate the confidence, William. I'm rooting for the Lakers this season.
I'm
Since
rooting to go to some Lakers
Spurs are
games.
almost out of it,
Go to some games. Uh,
at least two.
yeah. Um, yeah, man, this has got to be our year because Bron's not getting any younger. What we need is Anthony Davis to not have to be a little better, or at least not drop off and just be healthy. We need LeBron to continue to defy Father Time and have another one of these years where he is doing what you've never done, because he's going to be 39 in December. Doing what people have never done at 39. That's what it's going to require. And then everybody else
He's still capable.
could be better. Everyone else on the team could be better than they have been.
Yeah, well, he's still capable, and Anthony Davis just needs to rewatch the Nuggets series over and over and over again until he gets it in his mind that he's not going to be going every other day as an all-star and every other day as a bench guy.
Right. Well, how did that happen in the first place? I mean, it's just a mystery only he knows.
But he gets them. It doesn't make any other sense than, okay, he's a fragile player. He's always hurt. If he's amazing one game and then 2 days later he sucks, he must still be hurting from 2 days earlier. And so he doesn't have the energy that he's supposed to have or the muscles he's supposed to have.
I buy that. He's just gotten hit too many times. And I mean, against the Nuggets, he came across some guys he couldn't run through.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jokic schooled him.
Jokic is a better big man. At least current day.
Yep.
Certainly current day.
Yep. He can shoot as well as he can from the
Have a
three.
hole in his game. He doesn't have a hole in his game whatsoever. He's not afraid, and he makes crazy clutch baskets. And AD can look like that some of the time.
It's just when he feels
X
like
factor.
it. Really.
Very big X factor. And
I can't believe LeBron James hands you the torch and you don't take it.
well, he handed him the torch, and he kept his hand on the torch though.
Well, he's doing what he has to do to hold it up.
Yes, well, but LeBron was never satisfied. I mean, let's be real. In the all-time stuff, LeBron's got to still win the Finals MVP. In order, you can't catch Michael and be the second fiddle guy. Doesn't matter if he picks up 5 and 6 if he's not number one.
Yeah.
I mean, it still adds to his resume, and he's already got a case against Michael. But you see my point.
Yeah.
I think that's all well and good to talk about passing the torch, but I don't think LeBron has any intention of
not taking over the playoffs.
Yes. Well, my name's William Pierce. Carl Silva across from me. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll be back next week. More coverage of Summer League. Stay tuned.